All right, we are here 1 year after COVID took the world by storm and sent all of humanity into overdrive, into this brand new world in 2020 and now 2021. And I was sitting here around this time last year with then General Manager, now Country Director, Satia Chan in Cambodia. And we were just going through some of the challenges that the girls are facing at Bloom and that Bloom was facing as a whole, as an organization. And Satia, I think I was wearing the same shirt as last year. I'll have to go back and watch that last video. It must be my favorite shirt or something. But the shirt has survived COVID, thankfully. It's a good one. And so has Bloom, hey Satia. It hasn't been without its challenges, but Bloom is still here and Bloom is still working with young women and Bloom is still helping. Tell us a little bit about the last year from your perspective, Satia.
From last year, it is a hard year with the global pandemic and it's affecting Cambodia. And reflecting to last year, it's quite a hard year for us, but we also see that it is important for us to keeping supporting the girl. Salary is the most important thing. And we are celebrated because it's throughout the year. It's not really an easy year with the business is slowing down, like everything is not really like go like what we expected. But the most important thing, I think last year we celebrate that we able to support the girl salary fully.
It's a huge thing, isn't it? I remember talking about how vulnerable these young women are without this salary, and not just them, but their families and their siblings, their parents, their grandparents, all relying on this salary. And I feel super proud about that as well. I know that it wasn't us that did it. It was actually this huge, community of people that came around Bloom to help us sustain our project and help us retain these salaries for all of the girls. And yeah, it just fills me with a real warmth and a real sense of pride to be a part of this community that has done that and has persevered and pushed on in the middle of uncertainty. But we're not through it, really, are we? In Australia, we've just had a little COVID scare last week in Queensland. We had a couple of days lockdown, and it's still very real. The threat is very real here, and we are still having to socially distance and restrict movement and things like that. It's the same in Cambodia. It's actually probably as bad as it has been in Cambodia at the moment. Hey, Satia.
Yeah, I think its situation in Cambodia is now, I think it's getting worse than last year. Like COVID is like a big concern for like everyone here in Cambodia. And Cambodia is in a well at the moment with new cases. They found a new over 100 new cases every day.
Yeah, and also that it's also being reflected in the cafes. Hey, I know last year in April, May, June, we're having a lot of low season, and then towards the end of the year, we were starting to pick up in our in making cakes and people coming into the cafe, and we're getting quite excited for this year that I think we might have ridden out the worst of it. And then February this year in Cambodia, the biggest wave yet has come through. The government are doing quite a bit though, aren't they, to help restrict and help, flatten this curve and help restrict the virus as much as possible, hey?
Yeah, I think the government, they doing really good since last year and throughout this year. But look at like Bloom financially with our cafe income from last year, we had a bit like post-tail month at the end of 2020, which we hopeful for this year will be quite much better than last year, but actually it's opposite from what our expectation. It's
Yeah.
been about 2 months already that we have only online order and takeaway, no dining in, celebration is slowed down. So it seems like everything is out of our control.
It is, and we just have to roll with these restrictions that come in because they are, you know, for the better of the community. And I think even Khmer New Year has been restricted next week, hasn't it,
Yeah.
Satir, with
Yeah.
all of the borders being closed down, and there's now a curfew being put in place so people can't be out at night. So the government is trying very hard to restrict the pandemic as it can, whilst hopefully allowing people to be a little bit inventive and still continue to keep their businesses going as best as they can. Tell us about our class of, we've got over 10 girls who are waiting to come to Bloom. Aren't we 12 or 13? Tell us about that, Satir. Can we go ahead?
Yeah, we have certain new students have interview with us and they are ready to start their journey. But the government, they order to close vocational training. So we really hopeful to have them like get to start the class straight away. But because of the government restriction right now, we have to wait and see when we can start our vocational training again. And we are really excited like for them to start with us, but let's see what is the government says next.
Yeah, it sounds very, very similar to what we were talking about 1 year ago, was we have all of these girls waiting, and thankfully we were able to put that class on towards the end of last year. So I'm hoping that this curve can get flattened quickly and we can get those 13 girls to come in and start training and then get employed by Bloom and start a new life in healing, hope and purpose, and making cakes and making coffees. And I still have a really high hope for this year, for Bloom and for Cambodia and the world at large with COVID. I think that there are still obviously lots of countries that are battling it, but we are figuring it out. We're figuring out how to restrict it. We're figuring out vaccines. We're figuring out how to do business and how to get on and help people within Bloom in the midst of lockdowns and all of that. So I just think, Satir, I just want to say thank you to you. You have just been an absolute shining light over the last year, where there was so much chaos and so much uncertainty, and you have kept Bloom just steady as a ship in the middle of a calm lake. You've just done incredibly well keeping that going. And I also want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has really rallied around Bloom. Again, in the midst of uncertainty, in the midst of your own pressures and your own anxieties and your own, uncertainty about finance and things, people have come around Bloom and said, yeah, we want to be a part of protecting these girls' salaries, protecting their livelihood so that they don't become vulnerable to exploitation. So thanks very much, everyone. And Satir, thanks for catching up with us a year on. I will go put my shirt back in the cupboard and I might save it for a proper celebration 2022, where we have all 13 of these girls having come and graduated, people being vaccinated, the world opening up. I'm traveling back to Cambodia and saying hi to everyone. And it will be just a brand new world. And we will be able to look over the last couple of years and have incredible thanks and gratefulness. And I think pride about what we're able to achieve in the midst of it. So, yeah. Satir, thanks for jumping on board. Is there anything else you want to say before we sign off today?
I just want to say thank you to you and thank you to the team and thank you to the donor who been support us throughout the hard time. We cannot do it without you.
Yes, that's so good. All right. Thanks, Atia. Cheerio.
Bye.